Thank you, Madam President. For the sake of procedure, I'd ask that my comments be included in the journal. I rise today with a grateful heart and truly a thankful spirit that I've had the opportunity to serve the citizens of the 21st District in Michigan's Great Southwest. In my first term, I was blessed to serve Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties, sharing a portion with the President Pro Tem. And then in my second term in Berrien, Cass, and St. Joseph counties. I'm continually amazed at the resilience, ingenuity, and faithfulness of the people of this region and what they exhibit every day in their hard work. From a Southwest Michigan common sense perspective to that work ethic that really is second to none. We have our challenges and we have our concerns, no question, but we meet those challenges with a nose to the grindstone attitude of intensity and of an interest in success. I'm a proud product of that Southwest Michigan region, a very diverse region with so many proud communities that have trusted me to serve as their voice for some 14 years now here at the Capitol. As my colleagues have stated so well in their farewell addresses in these past few weeks, we could not possibly do this job without the hundreds of people that support the legislature and the Michigan Senate in particular. Our role in state government has so many people that give us the opportunity to serve. Chief Sergeant Mike Ferland and your crew. Dedicated security, quiet in their work, but interested in one thing and one thing only, that the people's business be done and be done safely, and that we return home to our families. My family sits behind me right now, and I will mention them shortly, but I've made it home every night in spite of I-94 and I-69. My 12-year-old asked recently, how many times did you travel back and forth to the Capitol? I had to count it up. I think it's somewhere in the 1,100 range of that 4-hour round trip. To the clerks, Secretary Jeff Cobb, Keith Barber at Corrections, Ombudsman, the Legislative Service Bureau, the facility staff, whom, by the way, is a key part that we never see. Also happens that one of those very key individuals is the father of my scheduler and office manager, Leanna Schaefer, a newly minted Spartan in just a couple of days. Thank you to all who helped to make this work. Thank you to Matt Van Acker. Your staff at Capitol, here at the Capitol, make this historic building shine on a day-to-day basis in ways that we could never know. The grandeur of this great building has been talked about by many during their farewell addresses, but it is truly an amazing office place, the people's office building. Thank you to the Senate Fiscal Agency for the many years of work, specifically in complicated budgets that I had the opportunity to serve. John Maxwell, Ryan Bergen, Abby Frazier, Michael Syracuse, just to name a few. We are supported by truly amazing people on the budget process and in so many other ways. A hearty and heartfelt thank you to all of the Legislative Service Bureau staff and the staff of the Majority Policy Office. You guys are amazing talents who do the people's business and give us the opportunity to know best what is happening in the legislation that's presented before us. The communications team, you folks do amazing work also. Bill Ivan, Adam Bitely, Catherine Jappinga, you guys are absolutely incredible, top-notch, and so very much appreciated. That's how we're able to communicate to the people that we serve at home. To the members of the advocacy and lobby community, as well as the media, I say thank you. I had the opportunity just this past week, one of the members of the media met with the students that I had visit me at the Capitol, and she so eloquently said, "We hold you accountable." And you know what? I felt completely right with that, because it's true. That's a part of the fourth institution and how important it is. In the era of term limits, we know that institutional memory is fleeting. The members of that advocacy and lobby community are a critical part of that also. as are those staff that will remain. That helps to make a difference in the lives of Michiganders. And now to the people that have helped me serve. The people of the 21st District. You know as well as I do, members, that you can't do it without a wonderful team of people. Folks by the names of Lori Nevin, Bob Wolfer, Ina Mazoyan, Danielle Beck, Leanna Schaefer, whom I mentioned already, go green, Kim Wadaga, Jonathan Keller, Trenton Miller, and a host of other interns who were dedicated to addressing the citizens' needs in Southwest Michigan. Specifically, though, I need to recognize Adam Mensinger. My district representative took the job very seriously and recognized that the way that we could be best successful to serve was to ensure that all politics remained local. He was my eyes and ears on the ground and followed that to a T, and now serves as my chief of staff. Thank you, Adam. In our term-limited environment, we lose amazing people early. I don't need to tell you how difficult it is, as Senator Knopf just mentioned recently. While Carmen has done a wonderful job, Greg moved on. She wouldn't let me do it, but Rebecca O'Connell joins me today in the gallery because she refused to ever be recognized on the floor. That's the way Becky does her work. She served as my chief of staff for all 8 years here, but I had the pleasure of hiring her into Congressman Fred Upton's office, my mentor and friend, who trusted me to find good talent, to serve the people of Southwest Michigan. And when Becky joined me, I wouldn't have known at that time that that was nearly 16 years of working together. As many of you know, we become very close with our staff because these are not easy jobs. It takes away nothing from those that have incredibly dangerous and difficult jobs. But for those of us in this arena, we need good people. And Becky has not only been my eyes and ears, but she has also been a trusted friend, a trusted confidant, and someone who kept my best interest at heart, knowing that if I was in a good place, a good position, I could best serve the people of Southwest Michigan. We never lost sight of that. I can't thank you enough for being such a great friend, supporting me and my family in such an amazing way. I'll forever be indebted to you and Brian and your family. Your 3 girls are very special, as are you. To my colleagues, thank you. I've learned so much from each and every one of you. One man cannot possibly explain it all, and I only have a few moments to say a few words about a couple of people. Senator Knopf, thank you for teaching me how to lead, how to listen, and that listening was far more important than leading. The solutions are there, but they're there because others take interest in them, take ownership of them, and sometimes it takes 4-hour committee hearings every single week of 2016. In fact, sometimes they're so long that Senator Coleman Young has time to hammer through 5 Red Bulls, 3 bags of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and wash it down with a bunch of Starburst. Senator Young, it was an impressive effort. That was in 3 hours of a 4-hour hearing. Senator Shoemaker, thank you for helping me to understand a very important lesson in life. It's in forgiveness we find peace. Senator Brandenburg, thank you for recognizing my colorful socks. I don't know what happened in that first couple of weeks of our time in the Senate. We'd served together in the House, but you stormed onto the floor. Chief Sergeant Ferlin will remember this. You stormed onto the floor as if I had completely turned your life upside down. You were hotter than a firecracker. I have no idea what I did or said, but you were convinced it was me. And so all 6'6" of his frame came over the top of my desk over there where Senator Shirkey's desk is and towered over me Well, I brought my 6'3" frame up as close as I could to your nose, and I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, Senator. That was about the time I noticed that Chief Sergeant Ferlin was a good 3 feet from us at that point. And literally, I to this day don't know what you thought I did. But I have to tell you, this is the beauty of it. You taught me something very important, Senator Brandenburg. That it is absolutely not wrong to say you're sorry. You came up to me about 2 hours after that. You may not even remember this. You came up to me about 2 hours after that, and you hovered over my desk, all six of you, 245, I understand, not 300. And I thought, there is no way this is going to happen again, and I'm sure Chief Sergeant Ferlin saw this. I stood right up and went right nose to nose with you because I'm not going to let him hover over me. Hey, pros, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Hey, I like your socks. I got to tell you, it was in that moment that the Senate began to make sense as to what this is so important about, why this is so important. Senator Warren, thank you for helping me to pass, and we talked in the resolution about criminal justice reform and so many other things, but the one that stands out is Aaron's Law. I could not have done it without your support and your effort and your time and your trust. And if there's anything that I can leave with this body, it's the idea of trust. The more trust we build in this chamber, the more opportunity we have for trust to be built in our communities. That's what seems to be missing these days, folks. I wish that more of our constituents understood that Senator Warren and Senator Prose consistently on lists on opposite sides of the aisle have so much respect for each other, as I do for you, Senator Warren. I could not have passed Aaron's Law addressing child sex abuse and allowing the survivors of child sex abuse to have a voice without you. Thank you. And as you noted, my wife, Christy, stands ready to write that episode of You Cannot Make This Up, first episode, The Legislature. Senator Meekhof, thank you for your trust and for being a man of honor. You've led this institution with honor and integrity. You've given us the leave to do what we think is best and to try to make a difference in the lives of so many countless others. It has been a true pleasure to serve with you. Thank you. Senator Ananich, my fellow Senate Fellowship Chairman, I spoke of trust earlier. You cannot possibly gather together once a month, closing the door, setting aside partisan differences, and sharing each other's story. It's your story. It's our story. It's the story we shared together. That helped to build trust in ways that I can't even begin to fathom, and I hope that it continues in the next term. Building that trust in fellowship together with that door closed and partisan labels aside gives the chance for this institution to run so very well. It will make Michigan strong. And then finally, Senator Pablo, my friend. Your amazing and unique perspective on life is one that kept me in stitches virtually every day that we were in the legislature together for 14 years. I'll be forever grateful for you and those that joined me in my grief as my father suddenly passed almost 5 years ago. Senators Brandenburg, Caswell, Shootmaker, and Pablo all took time to come to visit St. Joseph, Michigan, and to pay their respects to my father. But Phil, I'll never forget. In my Catholic church, right after communion, there's a time for prayer and taking into account that, in fact, you've participated in the Eucharist of Christ. I was fairly well in a bad place, to be honest. In that grief, right up at the front of church, right next to my father's casket with my family, I simply had my hands folded and my head down tears in my eyes as it had been for days at that point. You received communion and touched my hand as you walked by. That was a lifeline and a buoy that I couldn't possibly understand. Thank you. Thank you for that one touch. Members, nearly half my adult life has been spent with you all right here. As amazing as that may sound, we've walked these halls together. We are better and more enriched for having served together. We have fulfilled the hopes and dreams of so many. Sometimes we've failed to get across the line what we thought was so important, but what I have found as I've reminisced is that in fact what's most important is each and every one of us as human beings and as people in this chamber. I understand a little bit more what my mom and dad were trying to teach me. I get now, in these days and years, why my father cared so very much about the patients that he served, and why my father cared so much about the community that he lived in. You all taught me the importance of that human touch. Caring more than was reasonable, loving more than seemed possible. And last but not least, my wife, Christy, for recognizing that my service was sincere. My desire to make a difference was necessary in the deepest parts of my heart. My interest in positive outcomes for the people I served really was the reason I served. Your unconditional love, your advice, your support in this very public position that you didn't ask for, I did, can never properly be recognized other than to say thank you and that I love you. Elena, Jack, and Nora, my children, I hope that these years of service that you know how very much I love you and how very much I am proud to call you my children, number one. But just as importantly, I hope that you have seen the kind of lessons that my mom and dad taught me. That community matters, that human touch matters. If you've caught any of this along the way, then members, we'll be in good hands in the future. Senators and staff and those assembled here today, in my Catholic and Jesuit training from Marquette University, I learned a very important phrase that will sum up how I feel today. We're compelled to act in cura personalis. Care for the whole person. Another way to characterize this moral imperative is to love one another. Love is not simply as an emotion, but love is defined by St. Thomas Aquinas. Willing the good of the other as other. I pray that I have, while certainly imperfect, strived each day to care for the whole person and to seek the will and the good of the other. To seek the good of each of you and your constituents, and to seek the good of the people that I serve. This active and intentional effort has been my single objective when working in the Senate and in working in this great institution with each and every one of you. I pray that this body will continue to serve in the future, remembering the importance of caring for the whole person, and that at the heart of this noble endeavor remains love. Thank you all for the chance to reminisce today and for the amazing chance to serve the people of Southwest Michigan. Thank you, each of you, and may God bless the state of Michigan and continue to bless the United States of America.